welcome back to my channel. I'm Veronica with nurturingconnectionshomeschool.com, where I share encouragement, freebies, printables, and planners to help you connect with what matters most. Now, we have been homeschooling for 11 years now. I am currently homeschooling a 3rd grader, 6th grader, and 9th grader. So that is what we'll be doing this year as we venture into upper elementary, middle, and high school. Now, what I wanted to talk to you about today was homeschool planning. I have created a number of resources on my website. The majority of them are absolutely free. I have a student planner on there that's free, prayer sheets, planning pages that I have shared absolutely free in my member freebies section that you are welcome to go check out simply by signing up with your email address, and then you'll have instant access to that along with the master class and all of that good stuff. But in my shop, I have a couple of planners that I have made available. These are planners that I have used personally over the years that have really blessed my family, and I wanted to be able to share those with you as well. Now, the questions I get are, what are the differences in these planners? Which planner do I need? Which one should I use? Do I need both? What does that need to be? So I thought I'd speak to that today a little bit. If you are not interested in the planners, I hope you'll stick around anyway, because I'll be sharing some general homeschool planning tips as I go through these planners, and some resources you can check out that can help you with your own planning process as well. So I wanted to start off by talking a little bit about my homeschool bucket planner. So the reason I called it a bucket planner was because I saw it more as a bucket list. You know, those are the things that you want to make sure to target when you homeschool. You want to focus on the most important things, and it's very, very, very easy to lose sight of those important things once you start getting into the midst of homeschool curriculums and resources and websites and blogs and all of that good stuff. There's so much good stuff out there that it's easy to lose sight of the most important stuff, the best stuff. So the bucket planner was a way to create those bucket lists, to identify the most important things that needed to be targeted in order to connect with what matters most. The bucket planners are a goal planning system. So there's 2 bucket planners that I have available. The first one is for pre-K and kindergarten. And so what I did in those lower grades was create 8 bucket lists centered on discipleship and language arts and math and science and social studies and PE and health and creative arts and life skills. And so I took these 8 buckets and I created these bucket lists. So for example, for discipleship, it is down here. It says, I love God and others. So my goals personally for my pre-K child and kindergartner was that they would know that Jesus loved them, that they would listen to Bible stories, that they would pray every day, that they would learn about creation, they would memorize Bible scriptures, they would sing songs of praise to God, they would learn about Christian virtues, and so forth. So I made a bucket list here of those different areas that I wanted to make sure to target when my kids were little. Now next to that, I have these columns here where I was able to track our progress. So when my child was 2, 3, 4, and 5, I focused on different things along the way until we were pretty much targeting everything for that particular year. And then in this particular box was where I listed resources. So as I came across preschool Bibles or books on faith or virtues, I would just plug them in there. And then those were my reminders as I did my homeschool planning to make sure to target those specific areas. So this is how the bucket planner is set up. It is set up as a tool, as a workbook, as a place to log all those ideas, a place to track progress. These were beginning academics for pre-K, and then it went into beginning academics for kindergarten later on. But I could track her progress. Are we listening to books, stories, and poems? Is she narrating back to me? Does she know the alphabet song? Things like that. So if you are just starting out with a pre-K child or kindergartner, I want to encourage you to check out the pre-K kinder bucket planner. This planner can help you identify the most important things, kind of pull out the pieces that you want. There are blank lines, so you can add on others. You can cross off the ones you don't like, and then there are blank versions as well. So you can create your own bucket lists that you can target in those first couple of years. What you'll find in going through something like this is that most of pre-K and kindergarten can be done absolutely free or for very cheap if you are pulling together those resources to target these goals. So between the library and books you may already have on your shelves, or books that you may be able to borrow from someone, you can target these things and take advantage of those opportunities in your community through nature walks, through story hours, or whatever it is that's available to you to target these goals. But you'll have the plan in place. So that is the pre-K kindergarten bucket planner. It starts off, like I said, with these buckets. Then it has extra bucket sheets like this where I would list all the book titles by topic that we were going to target once I had it and then once we read it. And then the planner also includes your weekly planning sheet so you can write in your lesson plans and actually implement your plan throughout the year. So that is the pre-K kinder. I have an entire video on it. I think it's a two-part video series, so you can go check it out. It'll take you bucket by bucket by bucket. So if you're just looking for some inspiration for those little years or some resources that you want to check out, I'm going to link those below, and you can go check those out and create your own in a notebook if you choose to. But that was the heart behind that bucket planners. I wanted to be able to dump all my ideas in there, monitor their progress, track that progress, and then be able to stay focused on the most important things. So after I did the pre-K kindergarten bucket planner, I went ahead and put in the work to do grades 1 through 12. So that is the actual bucket planning system for the homeschool journey. This is the big picture. So the bucket planner is not for someone who just wants to plan this particular year. If you want to plan this particular year, I'd encourage you to just check out the yearly planner part, and that'll just give you the planning pages for this year. If you are looking to wrap your mind around the bigger picture of your homeschool journey, that's where this comes into place. Here we talk about vision planning. Where do you want to be in 5 years, in 10 years? Where are you headed? Do you even know where you're headed, or are you just kind of taking it year by year and hoping you'll get somewhere? So it takes you through that reflective process. It helps you create a mission statement for your homeschool. It helps you, it directs you to write a prayer for your homeschool. And then it has very similar buckets, but for the older grades. So as an example, you have a subject overview page like this, so you know which topics and which subjects you can cover by grade level. You'll set up goals like this for each of those bucket areas. So there are 9 key buckets, and of course there is a blank version if you wanted to focus on different things in your particular homeschool, depending on your specific needs. If you have a child with special needs that you need to target, or a gifted and talented child, whatever your family needs are, you can plug those in there. Then it has the actual buckets, very similar to this, where I've listed specific indicators or specific tasks for that bucket list, a place to track our progress, and then a place to record resources. So this is done for each and every subject area, all the way down for grades 1 through 12. So there are blank versions. Once again, you can use what I have typed up in here and add to it. You can cross off, or you can create your own. But this system has been life-changing for me. I have children with learning differences. So for me, it was the hardest thing in the world trying to fit into the mold of the public school system. Now, everybody was telling me, don't do school at home. You don't have to follow what the public school system is doing. And because I was a former public school educator and that was my world, that was all I knew to do. So when I had these children that didn't fit that mold, I didn't know what else to do. I was following these curriculums. I couldn't keep up with them in the way that they said needed to be done. And so I had no choice but to rethink everything and look at, okay, what is education? What does it mean to be educated? What are the things that are most important that I need to focus on? What are the goals, the life skills goals? What do I hope that my children will learn before they leave our home? And so going through that process is how this bucket planning system came to be, is that I wanted a place to jot down all those ideas, to make sure they were at the forefront of my mind every single year so that I was focusing on those important things and ultimately leading us and guiding us to accomplish those goals throughout our homeschool journey. So the homeschool bucket planner has these pages. It has specific pages, for example, language arts. So it has a place to track what grammar mechanics rules they've learned or what math skills they've learned. And so again, there are checklists here where you can include multiple children here at the top and check off their progress as you go through the years. There are blank versions of these sheets as well so that you can create your own bucket lists that are of utmost importance. Again, if your child is receiving special therapy services, those are things that can go as a part of your homeschool. You have so much freedom in a homeschooling to accomplish the things that are most important to you and the unique needs of your families. And this puts you in that position of authority to make sure that you're targeting those things and not just somebody else's plans for your family. Now, that is not to say we don't do the requirements of our state if there are specific requirements, and we want to make sure that we are faithful with those things. But in addition to those things, we can also focus on the things that God has placed in our hearts for our particular children. Now, in here, there's also recommended high school requirements. Just a number of forms, ministry opportunities that you can brainstorm, hymns and songs, for example, if that's something you want to share with your children. There's a page here for tracking their grammar skills, mechanics, and so forth. So the way I've used my bucket planner or my goal setting system is I have it bound like this. And the way I use it is anytime I'm watching a video, I'm watching something on social media and I see a great idea, I plug it in here. Oh, that's a great book for discipleship. That's a great curriculum for science. I just plug it in here and I set it aside. Then at the end of the year, I go back and I track our progress. What did we cover this particular year? I put our check marks where they need to go, and then I set goals for the following year. And so I start off by looking in here and seeing, okay, these are the books I wanted to read. These are the hymns we still need to target. So which ones are we going to do this particular year? And everything is on here. I just pull out from it and I prepare our year based on this. So this keeps us on track. This helps us focus on the most important things. And then what comes next are the yearly planning pages. So this particular bucket planning system includes it all. It has the bucket planner portion and the yearly planning pages. So I will share just a quick run through of those here. So for the yearly planning pages, for example, there are pages where I would just write down the goals for the entire year. I would write down the curriculums for each child. The planning pages take you step by step through that process. That was also something that I was wanting in a planner. I would open up these blank planners, and though they were beautiful, I would get stuck immediately. Like, where do I start? What am I looking for? Where do I even go for anything? And so this just guided me through that process. I created this system so that each year I just had to open it and say, okay, discipleship. What do I want to cover for discipleship? I'd come over here to my bucket planner. I'd look at discipleship, for example, and then I would pick and choose. Okay, we've done these books, we've done these hymns. These are the ones I want to target this particular year. So I'd pull from my bank here, and I'd plug it in here. And then I'd repeat that process for social studies. I'd come and check it out, plug it in here, science, and so forth. And the same thing for those independent studies for my children. So there are yearly planning pages, there are monthly planning pages, there are term goal planning pages where I could set goals for each term. So for example, by the end of the 6 weeks, we're going to read these pages, we're going to do these lessons, we're going to go on this field trip or that. do that activity, that project. So all of that would get plugged in here. And then it took me all the way through where I had materials lists, I had wish lists in there, I had a budgeting form. Oh goodness, I have everything in there. And then all the way down to the weekly planning, lesson plans, all of that is in there. So I used this planning system for a few years before I ever put it up on here, but fine-tuned it. There's, like I said, there's scheduling, there it is, scheduling sheets, lesson planning sheets, end of term evaluations, end of year evaluations. There are buckets like this that you can also use. There are student planning checklists in there. It is all in there. So it's an entire system. It's not just a planner. It is undated. It is a PDF download, so you can customize it from year to year and use the pieces that work for you. Now, if you already have another planner and you just want the bucket planner part of it, I'm going to go ahead and put that in the shop as a separate download, so you can just create that one piece that you need and then use it in your current planner to fit your needs. And it'll just be the bucket planner add-on here. So that is the bucket planning system. What I developed this past year for the first time was the Home plus School planner. So what on earth does that mean? I basically took the yearly planning pages from this, which included the yearly planning pages, the monthly planning pages, the weekly planning pages, the daily spreads, the term plans, all of that piece, and I combined it with goals for the home. So it's a 2-in-1. So instead of having two separate planners, one for home and all my home goals and budgeting and meal plans, and then another one for homeschool and lesson planning and field trips and all of that, I put it all together. So an example of the monthly spread, for example, it has this goal planning sheet in the front where I would make goals for family, faith, personal, homeschool, home, social, and a blank one for work or any other extracurriculars there. Things to do, things to buy, I'm looking at it backwards here, events and celebrations. And then just like in the bucket planner, there's a 1-page monthly spread and a 2-page. I'm using the 2-page here. I can track my school days up at the top and track my progress along the way. So it has all of that built in, but side by side, home plus school. So that is what this planner is. Once again, it has the weekly forms, everything else like the bucket planner, but there are new layouts, new designs, new colors. I wanted to change it up a little bit, so I chose 4 different colors. There's blue, pink, and yellow, and green, and so it just kind of adds a little bit of fun to that because I tend to get bored easily and just want to change things up. So that's how that is set up. You can see here that this, for example, is a student goal sheet for one of my children, and I'm just plugging it in. I go back to my bucket planner and I just plug it in bit by bit by bit until my plan is completed. But again, the planner guides me along. I don't have to guess. I don't have to be easily pulled from one direction to the next with every shiny object that's out there. I'm targeting our goals. I'm targeting the things that are most important to our family. I'm targeting the areas of growth for each specific child, and I'm doing it in a strategic way that is helping us to stay on track all the way through. So those are the differences. Those are the pieces. It's the goal planning, long-term goal planning system, and then the yearly goal planning system and implementation. So all of that is available in my shop. But if you'd like to go through that process, like I said, I do have a video series that takes you step by step. It is called Ditch the Overwhelm to Connect with What Matters Most, and I'm going to link it below, and you can go through that process with a notebook and hopefully start identifying those most important things so that you can fulfill the Lord's purpose for your home and homeschool in a way that brings honor to Him and brings joy into your homeschool, and it's just a blessing to your family. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them below. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. I'm also going to go ahead and link a couple of flip-through videos that I've created for each of those so that you can take a peek at those as well. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you'll come back and visit again next time. Please like and subscribe on your way out, and I'll see you then. Thanks.